the heavyweight champion of the world who never made a wrong prediction, Muhammad Ali. Well, Muhammad, really, in all seriousness, how does it feel to be with the star?
Well, you know, I would have known if I had taken that flight with the astronauts, you know.
Yeah.
They got pretty close to him. What do you mean you said?
Well, I'm talking about me, yes.
Well, you real good. I got to give it to you. You're one of the best in your business. I don't like that. I like you because you talk a lot.
Well, I'm glad. You never do, though.
Tell them what you're going to do before you do it, and then do it.
And then we got to go out and do it.
That's right. That way they can't say you're conceited. You can tell them you're not conceited. You're convinced.
As long as you do it, right. You're convinced.
But are you going to teach him, some poetry before the football games?
I wrote a poem about the show after talking to his agent back there who pays you, you know.
Yeah?
You get a little, I guess the people know you get a little salary for coming on the show. And I just wrote a little poem about your show. Did you want to hear it?
Yeah, I would like to hear it.
It's not too long. It tells a whole lot concerning your show. I like your show, and I like your style. But your pay is so cheap, I won't be back for it.
Well, I see you're keeping in practice, anyway, right? Well, what's the story? Are you really afraid to fight Joe Frazier?
Afraid to fight?
Well, now, I've been talking to some of Joe's people in Philadelphia, and they say you've just been...
No, this must be publicity. You know, I'm not afraid to fight nobody. I think Joe's ducking me.
Well...
Yeah, I think we got license now, probably.
You have a license
maybe,
now?
Maybe, not right. But we're closer to fighting in Mississippi of all places than anywhere else.
Well, who are you going to fight in Mississippi?
Well, Joe Frazier's manager told me we had a little run-in Philadelphia not too long ago on the streets. 10,000 people came out to watch the showdown in some gymnasium. It was too small. They made us go to the park. Some 50 police cars showed up to cool the crowd. And Frazier's manager backed out and made Frazier go home. And he said that we want Ali to get a license. We'll fight him anywhere, even if it means in a graveyard. So we got license in Mississippi, and then they contacted Frazier and said, well, he's got license, or it looks like it might happen. Frazier said, I'll fight anywhere but Mississippi. Said,
yeah, I saw that. That's right.
He said, the Greyhound don't even go down there.
Well, I think really that if we do get that license straightened out in Mississippi, Joe would have to go ahead. I mean, as much as you want to fight him, and I am still firmly convinced of this, you are the champion of the world. I'm not saying because you're here now. I've never denied that. But I know he feels in his heart that he still has to beat you to be champion of the world.
Well, yes. Well, naturally, you know, ever since we've had the sport of boxing in America, there's never been no confusion over who the champion was until I got the title. And I won, you know, I beat the best in Canada, Germany, and the best America had to offer. Even told them what round they would go down.
Even told them the truth, right? Yeah. Everybody said you was loudmouth, but you did it anyway.
You're not as dumb as you look, Joe.
We'll give you a license.
Why I gotta look dumb all of a sudden?
He's a lot prettier than you.
Yes, yes. You
I don't like for men to use the word pretty, you know. It's
nice.
Not too good when men use the word pretty.
But I'm pretty, too.
There's a sign down there.
We're going to give you a license to fight on this show, and if Frazier won't come on and fight, Joe said he's willing to fight you.
No.
Let me tell you something. If Joe Frazier dreamed Joe Namath. If he dreamed he fought me, he better wake up and apologize.
Put your hand out, Joe. Put out the left hand.
You crazy? No, what kind of shape are you in now? Do you think you're in fighting shape or?
Not too good. I'm about 10 pounds overweight, and I'm healthy, but not in fight shape. Need about 2 months training.
2 months?
Mm-hmm. 2 months.
But I think really that the people, there was an article in Esquire magazine recently about how many folks wanted to see you come back to fighting.
Right.
And
I have that magazine. I happen to have it with me.
Yeah. Just happen to have this magazine with us here.
I think they all should have.
Got all
Get the camera on that right.
Oh, yeah, he got
these people here.
Yeah, you know, and I have a picture here. I think it's real fun. It's called Muhammad Ali and the Little People. And here they have a big picture of the giant laying down, you know, which is supposed to be me. And then they got all these people, you know, holding me down, and Joe Frazier standing in the ring, taking the title while I'm tied down and can't defend myself. And I want to thank everybody who back me up in here. You know, Dinah Carroll and Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor and Truman Capote and just all the big shots. Or just a whole list of the names of the people who, you know, who said that they won't be satisfied until I fight again. Here's a picture of the list of people here. Esquires better pay me some more money for this. All of these are names of prominent people here in America. So I think that this will let the people know. I mean, if I never fight again, it's just a principle of the thing that you just can't destroy a heavyweight title, which is the highest prize in all sports, and just say a fellow's not the champion because of his religion or his political beliefs.
Regardless of everything else that's happened, I don't think anyone had the right to take the title away from you. You earned the title, you beat everyone that was capable of challenging you, and you beat them in very good fashion.
You had a nice time doing it.
Nice time doing it. And the title still should not have been taken away from you.
Last week, Joe, Muhammad was with Tom Seaver and me in Chicago, and Muhammad was demonstrating a little shadow boxing for us and offered to punch Tom's hand. And Tom hit his right hand under his arm and held up his left hand.
Can't say that I blame him.
He threw some pretty good punches. You want to throw one here at this hand?
When we pause for a brief commercial.
Then you'll throw it at me?
Yeah, you don't want to hurt you, Dick. You got to steal right with that hand, don't you?
Let me tell you something.
No, Joe, just use
Dick,
the
if
tape.
you tried me 7 days from now, you'll be a week-old ghost.
You really think you can come back and be as good as you were?
If you stayed off 2 years, do you think you could?
No.
Well, I could.
All right.
Ask me.
Even if you think your
all the
mattress
things you hate, but he's a great actor and one of your favorites, George Siegel.
Right. And before we go any further, I really don't want to keep sounding like this is a big flatter thing, but I watched a couple of your movies, you know, and I really dig
Go.
No, for real.
Which ones were they, Joe? Go.
No, King Rat I saw first. Quilla's Memorandum I saw second. And then I saw that one with George Hamilton. There was Moss Hoffman, and I cracked up. Every time you got hot. Moss Hart. I was close.
He's a lot like Moss Hoffman, but the hairstyle is
But, all right. But every time you got hot and walked out, man, like in the restaurant, I cracked up. That was
Well, you're
great.
one of 12 people
I
who
wish you
saw
could get
that
rid of
film.
it.
That was not one of the big ones.
No?
Act 1, no.
But you did all right.
Thank you.
For a beginner. I mean, you know, pretty good. Now, listen, we got it straight now. Now, you and Muhammad are going to give a sparring.
Just a few times around, yes.
Yeah. Is it going to take a few times? You're going to be able to take care of them the first time?
You agitating, Joe.
You never agitate, do you?
You're trying to start some trouble.
You and Howard Cosell.
It wouldn't be in trouble.
This man tried me.
You can get your complete hand around my thigh. And
Well, you got a big thigh, but he got a big hand.
George, I'm going to talk about movies for a second.
Certainly.
While they're sparring over there, you're about to go into the ring with one of the champions. I don't know which division. About to make a movie with Barbara Streisand, Al and the Pussycat.
Yes, I don't know whether that's the image that I'd use, Dick.
Well, it's that kind of play. You are.
Yes, that's
you are
true.
in
It's
the
mainly
ring.
the two of us. That's true.
And
That's true.
how do you prepare for something like that compared to the way Muhammad has to go in training for a fight and Joe goes into terrible training for a football game? I mean, we all know that. I mean,
That's the way I feel about it, too.
Well, I'll tell you. I have to be naked a lot of the time, it turns out, in the
You have to
thing.
be
And
what?
I'm embarrassed about that.
You have to be what?
Naked or undressed. I mean, there's a lot of dressing. They do that now. That's
Well, I
very
bet
big
that
now.
looks good. You and Barbara Streisand naked. Wow.
hey, George.
Hey, that's nothing to laugh about, folks.
I think it is.
George, you come into the Jet dressing room the next game and you can laugh.
Wake up. Wake up. You don't want to wake up.
I'm all right.
You're still worried about Joe Frazier.
No, I just lost you on your conversation or something.
Well, if you listen now, you wouldn't lose it. George, you think Muhammad could ever make an actor? I mean, you know.
he's a terrific actor.
I'd like to say
Sure is.
something. I just closed the deal. I'm sure it's closed. I'll be starring on Broadway in another month in a play called Big Time Buck White.
Buck White?
Terrific. That's a good play.
Why are they called Buck
We
White?
start it next month.
Why are they calling it Buck White?
Big Time Buck White. You know the title. I don't really know the true meaning of myself. Sound good.
Are you playing big time, Buck White?
Yeah.
You get to scream a lot at the audience, don't you, in that role?
Yeah, I like that.
You like it?
I would say that it's real. It's not, I wouldn't call it acting, you know, it's real. It's concerning the problems and the things that are happening today, the racial conflicts, and we have people asking real questions on touchy, hot subjects and giving them raw, cold answers. And I like it, you know. I think it's going to work out good.
Are these questions, will those be plants in the audience, or people will be, within the play, people will be...
I don't want no plants.
But they'll be firing questions spontaneously?
Just like in the colleges and everywhere else.
Do you think you can really handle the questions?
I would say it would be easier in a place where you have just a few people. Like I usually handle them on nationwide TVs that are unrehearsed by top-notch people like Howard Cosell and...
Howard who?
Cosell, you know, one of our sports brothers.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm pretty well versed on answering questions. It's just about every question that a person asks you. You know, when you're used to doing this type of work, it's always the same question, never nothing really new. You know.
Man, it does get old, I guess. Same questions all the time. Right. When you and Barbara going to start this good-looking, whatever you call it, where everybody's naked?
Well, we're going to be dressed too, Joe. It's just not... I mean, it's what I was going to say when you asked me about the preparation for a thing like this. So you get embarrassed. At least I get embarrassed. I feel embarrassed about the whole idea. I've never had to do that before. So I start to diet and stuff like that. And I run around the park. I run around the park every day. It doesn't help, but that's what I do. It makes me think I'm doing something.
I can see the three of you running around the park every morning.
No, the two of them, and I'll drive the car and pace them. So bring them along.
Have you been running in the park here, Mohammed?
Mom.
He's the quickest fighter that ever lived.
When you start talking about all that stuff, naked stuff, I don't take part in that kind of conversation.
Who are you talking about running in the park?
Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. I didn't know.
I don't do all that.
I'm sorry, audience. That got pretty raw.
That's everybody's own thing. You know, I don't take part in all that type stuff. Civilized people don't talk like that.
I beg your pardon? Civilized people don't...
I don't want to get
I beg to differ with you.
I don't want to get into it.
You're going to get me out of this, aren't you? You're going to start talking.
Right.
Go ahead, fellas, fight. Mohammed, I'll switch back.
George, you're not civilized.
No, I'm not. That's what I said. It's something you don't mean the man's not civilized. It's something that you don't get into. It's his life. Whoever's taking part in this type of stuff, but I don't take part in these type of conversations. I'm a religious
But do you
man.
consider George a bad guy for doing something like that?
I mean, I'm not going to talk about that. You wouldn't take Billy Graham, a white preacher, the Pope of Rome, and bring him on his TV show and cheapen him like this. And I was really disgraceful, you know, to even be sitting up here when you're talking about things like that, being who I am.
Well, I think you'd better go back to sleep then and not listen.
No,
I don't...
just get on up and walk on off.
No, Mohammed, though Billy Graham did go on to discuss this subject.
Well, I'd rather not discuss it. Talk it with him if he wants to, not me.
I'll switch to a different subject.
Would you please?
But in 1960, when you fought in the Olympics in Rome, you were sort of the unofficial mayor of the Olympic Village, and you were the #1 spokesman then for the United States, really defending the
caught all kinds of hell, still is.
Well, Mohammed, thank you. Enjoyed you coming on. George, sorry we didn't have enough time, but we have to close now. And thank all of you people for tuning in. Thank you very much.
The 1964 Stanley Cup Finals, the Red Wings